Hello Football Manager gamers and welcome back to the channel. If you're playing in the lower leagues and you're looking to achieve multiple promotions in Football Manager 2023 or indeed any Football Manager game, here are some tips to help you along the way. In this video, we'll cover sections relating to player fitness and injuries, game management throughout the season, training, tactics, and league and cup approach. First, fitness. Fitness is by far the most important attribute or condition to consider when playing in the lower leagues. Having fit players to get you through the season gives you an advantage over the opposition, and then you need to know that you have to use your medical center to stay up to date with your players' fitness. Try to make sure that you don't have too many players on very high injury risk and your workload is just enough for your team to actually get through the season. Rest and rotate your players often, and also this helps to have depth when you're playing in the lower league. Use loans and free agent offers to try and get good players into your team and improve your team's depth. 2. Game management. Game management is just as crucial as fitness, and in the English lower leagues, this is like the toughest league you can actually go on to play through, because in the league there are 46 games you have to play in the league, excluding cup competitions. So try to take it one game at a time. Don't look too much into your next schedule, your next 5 to 10 fixtures. You don't really need to overthink it too much. You just need to focus on your next game one at a time, just like that, and try to figure out how you can get the best out of that one game. Tip number 3 is training, and training is a tricky aspect in the lower leagues. Depending on the division or the tier that you're in, on the league that you're in, your team might be a semi-professional team or a professional team. And if you're a professional team, let's say you're in League 1, in the Championship, or in League 2 possibly, your training is going to look something like this. But if you're in the non-leagues, if you're using a semi-pro team that is not yet professional, your training is going to look something like this, where you have very few days to train. The other games you can't actually go on to include training sessions in most of your weekdays, so it's going to look something like this. For training sessions in the lower leagues, especially in the non-leagues, my recommendation would be just to leave training as it is. Get a good assistant manager, get a good fitness coach and a good coach altogether, and then you should be fine. You don't need to tinker too much with your training sessions. The next tip we're going to look at is tactics. Now, I'm a tinker man myself, and you might be too. I've gone on to create this 4-3-1-2 system that I'm probably not going to use in my next match. I do have a next game against Norwich. It's a playoff final. And after this one game, we do get to see if we're going to be promoted to the Premier League after a long while with Hull City. So back into tactics, I do have the system that I'm going to use, this system and then the alternative system. That's basically it. I mean, in the lower leagues, you do want to have a tactic that you can use consistently throughout the season. You don't want to chop and change too much, because your players may not be so technically gifted enough to try to adapt to your constant changing of the tactics. So you need to find one tactic that's good enough for you that you can use to play consistently, and then maybe have a shut down version of the tactic where it's probably more balanced, more cautious version of the tactic that you can use to try and play against the big teams, and then also that tactic you're going to use to shut up the opposition when you're trying to defend a league and take, let's say, go home with a point, go home with 1-0 wins. You need that shutdown tactic to help you build consistency, and consistency is really important in Football Manager 2023 when you're trying to gain promotion. More on that later. This next tip is on your league and cup approach. I already touched a little bit on this before, but I'm just going to go over it again briefly. You don't have to overthink your next 5 games ahead. Just take one game at a time throughout your season. Try to go one game at a time. Try to win just your next match. Don't overthink it. Don't try to count too many points ahead. How many points do I need? How many games do I need to win? Something like that. And also observe that. Let's just use the Championship as an example. I'm just going to jump in here and then go into the league stages. And then you'd see that you don't actually have to finish in the top 2 or top 3 positions to actually qualify for promotion. It's good to win it as the champion. Go in there as the champion, like Watford and Bournemouth. Bournemouth are also promoted because they're in second place. So in Championship, the first 2 teams are going to be automatically promoted. If you can get in there, good for you. But if you can't, if you're a mid-table side and you're looking to get promoted, try to aim for the 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th position, just like it happened here. And at the point I was 2nd, 3rd, 4th, we kind of danced around here, but then all I had to do was just secure a position and just not go below 6th anyway. Yeah, and just remain in this position. And then 2 teams ahead of me, Peterborough and Burnley, are already out. And then the final is consisting of Hull City and Norwich, which is both of us that finish in 5th and 6th place. We are the 2 teams that now have the chance to get promoted alongside Bournemouth and alongside Watford. So if you can get promoted as a champion, good for you. If you can't, try to settle in this position here and then go on to win it via playoffs. If you're not in the Championship, you're going to want to check the rules. You can go over to the overview here of your competition and then go over to check the rules and then see how teams go on to get promotion. You can see the playoff stage, Skybet Championship, how it goes, and then people promoted to the Premier League 1st and 2nd is automatic, and then third, fourth, fifth, sixth are playoff position. You can just do that for your league and see how you can, or which window you have to fall into in order for you to qualify for a playoff for promotion, something like that. For cup competitions, when I'm obsessed with going for promotion, I don't really pay too much attention to the cup games. It's nice to have, like if I'm in League 2, League 1, when the cup competition isn't the Carabao Cup, it's probably the FA Trophy, something like that, or Papa John's Trophy, I think. You can go on to win that, it gives you extra money. But if you're in a tougher division like the Championship, the Carabao Cup run is good, you're still going to get a little extra money for winning that, but I don't really put too much attention into it. We did get into the semi-final and we got knocked up by Manchester United, but it didn't really bother me too much when we lost. We're always focused on trying to get promoted using the Championship, and that was good. The money from the Carabao Cup is useful as well. Obviously you can reinvest that into your club, but you should be fine just focusing on promotion here, and I don't really think of the cups competitions too much when I'm aiming for promotion. Now, as a bonus tip, I mentioned consistency before, and here's a little substance as to what I mean when it comes to consistency. I already mentioned that you have to stick to your tactic. You need to have one tactic and then one shutdown tactic to try and enable your team be more attacking and also be more defensive when you need to be. But with consistency, you also need to focus on your team dynamics as well. And notice a lot of people don't really pay attention to this section of the game, but team cohesion, club atmosphere, leadership support, you need to get on the green side of all these bars. Sometimes you can drop to red occasionally throughout the season, but that's where your player happiness, you need to pay attention to all your players that are happy. Make sure most of your players are happy. Try to keep everybody happy. You'll get better results like that, and then try to have conversation with your players to try and make sure that maybe not a general team conversation like this isn't a suitable time for a team meeting, but you can pick one of your players that are slightly, okay, there's a player that is slightly unhappy in Nathan Ferguson. He's one of the older players that I'm going to try to phase out from the team and then bring in somebody else. So we're just going to go into Nathan Ferguson now and try to have a conversation with him, going to discuss, praise player, praise his conduct, because he hasn't done anything too wrong, he hasn't done anything too right, he's just being a good boy, and that's fine. So just say thank you. He's going to improve his morale at some point, and then do that consistently with some of your players, and then you're going to see their happiness try to improve once in a while. You can see Nathan Ferguson from slightly unhappy, he's now content. So you can do that with unhappy players and then try to get them on board, and the more of your players you have on board in your team, the better your team is going to play. I do have a problem with Bruno Iglesias now. His contract is expiring, but nonetheless, go into praise his conduct, hope he's doing well, commend him for his good works. His morale goes slightly upward. I'm going to try to get a contract in here. Maybe that might help him get, nope, it didn't make him any happier, so we're out of here. Okay, we're going to try to coerce him to join the club at one point or another. So try these tips and let me know how you get on, and if you have additional tips for promotion of Football Manager, just let us know in the comment sections down below. For more Football Manager content like this, remember to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date when the new videos do come out. And if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like on it and also to share it if possible. It helps the channel grow, it helps support the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.